Hello Doug fans, my name is Justin Lutz. I'm joining the recruiting lounge with head cross country and track and field coach Justin Wood and All-American sophomore Amy Regan. Thanks for the time, both of you. I'll ask a few questions, kind of recap how this fall season went. So Amy, as we kind of just noted, you had a really successful year from first meet all the way through ECAC's Empire 8s. Can you kind of just give us a little overview of how the season went for you?
Yeah, it was a pretty successful season. There was a lot of training and prep work going into it throughout the entire summer and the season as well. But starting with just the smaller meets in the beginning of the season, those are pretty good, getting us in shape for championship season. So E8s, my goal was to go back and try and run as well as I did last year, and I PR'd on that course, so that was pretty successful too. And then of course going into regionals, that meet is always good because it's good preparation. Like the size of the meet is a good example of what nationals was going to be. So all of the meets that we attended were a lot of good experience before nationals. So.
And as we just said, also you were an All-American this year, just after missing the year before. So how was just going there and being so successful this year?
Yeah, so last year was a new experience. I'd never raced at that level before, but taking that experience and then going to other championship meets throughout the summer, I felt more prepared for that size race, and I was able to really just say, hey, it's just another race. You just gotta run what you know you can run, and I definitely am proud of the effort and everything that went into it and the outcome. So yeah.
Were you expecting to finish in the top 10, or what were your kind of just overall goals heading into it?
The top 10, no. Coach had been talking all season about the competition and where other teams were and how I related to that, but it's kind of hard to picture yourself going from 40 to 6th in 1 year. So I wasn't expecting that at all. I was really just hoping for top 35, and it kind of worked out well. So.
And Coach, you can kind of go off of this. What was your perspective of the race and just your overall assessment of how she performed?
Yeah, sure. So I thought that Amy could potentially be in the top 10 if things went really well. But of course, when you go into a national championship, there are a lot of other variables. Maybe how other athletes run and conditions and travel and that whole environment. So. Going in, I talked to Amy about establishing herself in the top 35 and being in the mix, and then we focused on, planning to move up late in the race after the 3K mark. So at one point she had fallen back to maybe 15th, and she was at the back of the chase pack. There were 4 women in the front and then a chase pack of 11 or so. So she was at the back of the pack, and I had yelled to her to take a risk and try to move up, and she reacted really well and moved up into, I think it was 7th, and then 6th late on the last straightaway, and ended up being 6th overall.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you're still going to have indoor and outdoor to come. So what are your overall goals, not just for cross country, but maybe for the other 2 seasons that you'll be competing in?
Yeah, so I definitely see improvement from cross last year to cross this year, so I'm hoping for the same sort of effects for track. Taking a couple weeks off and relaxing a little bit, and then getting right back into training and hoping to, hoping to make winter nationals this year for NCAAs and seeing how far I can go with that.
Thank you. And Coach, this was probably just not for Amy, but for the women and the men, probably one of the most successful cross-country seasons in school history. So how is this going to help the future of the program, and what do you foresee coming up?
Yeah, this was a great season for us. A couple things came into play. We had large numbers. We had over 42 distance runners as part of the program. So that was kind of a kickstart to the season, because we had a lot of new bodies, and we're a young team. But then going into the season, I started focusing on our team average for our top 5 for 6K or 5K, depending on what the women were running, and then 8K for the men, and we saw those averages drop down, and that was an indicator of how good our teams were getting compared to the past. So I was really happy with that, and then of course, you know, we ran our best races at NCAA regionals, and then we qualified 2 athletes for NCAA nationals. So that's the direction that I hope to continue to go, to have athletes at that national championship, and hopefully, you know, one day we would like to send men's and women's teams to the national championship, and that's going to take some time and some continued recruiting efforts. But we're showing now that we can develop distance runners in Hoboken, you know, using a variety of resources, and you know, now we've developed an NCAA All-American top 10 runner training here in Hoboken, and that's big for our program, and it's the direction we'll continue to go.
Well, thanks both of you for your time. Congratulations on being
Thank you.
first school All-American. Congratulations to you, Coach. You have a few more weeks and then indoor season will start, so good luck in that season.
Thank you.